The next skill we're going to look at is finding a coterminal angle. And a coterminal angle is an angle measurement that has the same ending point as another angle, but the only thing that's different is you go around the circle a different number of times. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to set up two formulas, one for radians, one for degrees, that's going to find coterminal angles. And the formula we're going to use is we're going to take our angle measurement and then add 2 pi n. If I'm in degrees, it's going to be the same setup, the angle measurement plus 360 n. And what n equals is the number of times we go around the circle. So with the degrees, if I go around the circle once, 360 times 1 is 360 degrees. If I go 2 times around the circle, 360 times 2 is 720 degrees. So I'm going to take whatever my angle is for my starting angle and then add 360 times the number of times we go around. Or if I'm dealing with radians, it'll be 2 pi times the number of times we go around. So in example 2, we want to find both the negative and positive coterminal angle. 156 degrees is my starting angle, and I want to find both positive and negative coterminal angles. So for 156 degrees, I'm going to add 360. And I'm only going to go around one additional time. So 360 times 1 gives me 360. And that's equal to 516 degrees. If I were to go the negative route, 156 degrees, I could say plus a negative 360 degrees, which indicates going in the clockwise direction. So my n would be a negative 1, which would then give me negative 204 degrees. These are not the only answers. I could add another 360 to this 516 and get another positive coterminal angle. And I could subtract another 360 from this 204 and get another negative coterminal angle. So there's an unlimited number of coterminal angles that you could find. You're always adding or subtracting 360, or adding or subtracting 2 pi, depending if you're in radians versus degrees. So the second example here, 7 pi over 2 radians. I want to find a coterminal positive angle. So 7 pi over 2, and we'll add 2 pi to this. And since I've got fractions, I'll find a common denominator, 4 pi over 2, which is then going to give me 11 pi over 2. Now, in order for me to find a negative coterminal angle, I'm going to need to subtract 2 pi. So 7 pi over 2 minus 2 pi, which we know is 7 pi over 2 minus 4 pi over 2. And that gives me 3 pi over 2. That's not negative yet. So I need to do the same thing again, subtracting another 2 pi, which we know here this is 4 pi over 2. So then 3 pi minus 4 pi would be the negative pi over 2 that I'm looking for. So this answer right here where I had the 3 pi over 2, that would have been a perfectly legitimate answer for another positive coterminal angle. So I don't necessarily have to always add to get another positive coterminal angle or subtract to get negative. I might be able to do a subtraction as long as I don't go into a negative angle measurement. The last one I want to be a little bit careful of, because once again we do not have a pi with the radians, but we want to take the same approach. So to find a positive coterminal angle, I'm going to have 2 radians plus 2 pi radians. And what this does not equal, this does not equal 4 pi radians. I see a lot of students make the assumption that 2 radians plus 2 pi, 2 radians, I was right there, plus 2 pi radians equals 4 pi radians. And this is not the case. Just like you can't say 2 plus 2x is equal to 4x because they're not common, you can't just add regular coefficients with pi radians. So really what we've got to do is we need to factor, and what we're adding is 2 plus 2 pi radians, which is going to be approximately 8.28 radians. And 8.28 radians is not 4 pi radians. We know 4 pi radians is going to be over 12. Same concept if we subtract radians. We start with 2 radians and we'll subtract 2 pi radians. That's the same thing as 2 minus 2 pi radians, which is going to be approximately negative 4.28 radians. If this factoring out piece confuses you, you could just convert this 2 pi into a decimal and go from that point. So you could say that this right here is about 6.28 radians. So then you've got two constants that you're subtracting. 2 minus the 6.28 would be the negative 4.28.